So you want to play Warhammer. That's great. All you'll need to start out is dice and some friends. And a literal army of Space War figurines, paint and brushes, tools, a tape measure, a core rulebook, faction rulebook, mission rulebook, dedicate dozens upon dozens of hours to building and painting the figures you'll use, learn the complex rules and general playstyles of all 20 plus armies in the game, as well as the decades of lore and novels that have been released for the setting. And, oh right, give Games Workshop a literal permanent lease in your wallet. Okay, wait, that might be too much all at once. Let's start simpler. So what is Warhammer? Well, for this video, when we talk about Warhammer, we are talking about Warhammer 40,000, or 40K for short. Plain and simple, it's not a role-playing game like D&D, or an intense strategy board game like Catan or Candyland. No, Warhammer is a tabletop war game, and likely the most popular one at that. In this guide, we are doing the quickest, most general overview of Warhammer 40K's setting and what it means to get into the hobby. And I will follow up quick guides in the future about actually playing the game and describing the different factions. So let's get started. Warhammer is set in our very own galaxy and is largely centered around mankind and their place in the universe in the year 40,000. That's where the 40K comes from. The tone is probably best set by the following famous quote you'll see often. "In the grim darkness of the future, there is only war." So you know, it's fun. In the Warhammer universe, there are many factions. You have the bad guys, the forces of chaos, always at war with the Imperium of Man, who are also the bad guys. In fact, there are lots of bad guys in the Warhammer universe. Actually, everyone is the bad guys, except the Tau. Oh wait, no, they're also bad guys. There's many different factions to choose from within either the forces of chaos, the armies of the Imperium, or one of the many different Xenos factions, that's aliens. So when starting an army, choose one that seems cool to you. But Skullcap, you ask? Now that I've chosen a faction, what do I do next? Well, the next step is building and painting an army. There are many people with huge armies out there, but they all start the same way. Building their first set. There are lots of boxes called combat patrols, and they are great starter sets to get into the hobby with. So you buy your set and... what the get? These aren't models, they're sheets of plastic! Yes sirree, they sell you the models and give you the opportunity to build them yourself. So go buy some clippers and plastic glue. Note, plastic glue does not glue things but melts them together. And get following that instruction manual. I know it sounds difficult, but the instructions actually make it very easy to follow along for anyone. Now that you have your models all built and ready, it's time to paint! Now first thing is think of how you want to paint your models. There's many official color schemes out there, but what's important is that you paint your models in a way that's cool to you. Once you've purchased your paints, you need to spray prime your models and you are all good to go. There are many rules people will try to tell you about painting, and tons of great guides on how to do it. And it may seem overwhelming at first, but what's most important is that you have fun and paint them how you like them. It may look rough, but it'll be yours, and the only way to get better is practice. Now that your models are all painted, you are good to go. You can read up on the rules by buying the core rulebook and your factions rulebook, cough cough, or find the rules in plenty of places online, cough cough, and then you can try out a game. So when figuring out your army size, we're going to use something called points. The model, or the squads of models, called units you acquire, have an assigned point value, and the added value of these is the point total of your army. A full army is 2,000 points, but I recommend starting your first game at around 500, about the amount of a combat patrol box. Make sure your armies are about equal to your opponents, preferably a friend who will help you learn, and go to your local game store that will often have tables and battle terrain for you to use. Other than your armies, you'll both need a rules book, dice, and a tape measure. Now that you're ready, it's time to leave the battleground soaked with the blood of your friend's army. I'll go into more detail on how to play and the different armies you can play as in future videos, but for now, this has been Skullcap Presents. Thanks for watching, and remember, the most important rule, it's all about having fun. And leaving your opponent's ego and army broken on the battlefield. Bye!